Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for Tuesday, the 2nd of July.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Jason Pine will be on the podcast later on to lend a bit of backbone to this podcast because, as we often say, football a blind spot to us.
Look, it's my goal in the end of the year to not be a blind spot. You know, on some wing mirrors, you know, they have the little round thing at the top of the wing mirror to cover the blind spot.
Are you saying that as far as this podcast is concerned, things in the rearview mirror may be bigger than they actually appear?
Correct.
You may actually know a little bit more about the round ball.
Yeah, correct. By the end of the year, we hopefully, I love having Piney on. He is the voice of the round ball in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that with Auckland FC coming on board in October, that we will be skilled up enough not to upset the football fans out there, because at the moment I think they're agitated.
Yeah, it's hard though, because if you follow rugby, it's quite easy to figure out who the biggest players are.
Yeah.
If you follow basketball, they all play in the NBA, so that's very easy. But with football, there's so many different leagues.
Yeah.
You know, you get found out very quickly when you're like, wait, who, what?
I think you just
got the Italian league.
You just have to weigh into one team, like follow Aston Villa, and then just know all the players there, and then you don't have to know about anyone from Man City or.
Oh, because
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because if you can just summon up a bench player for Aston Villa,
yeah,
then it sounds like you know a lot about the comp, but actually you only know about one team.
So maybe we should. Okay, we're going to go all in on Auckland FC. That's the starter, and maybe we should go all in on one team each on the EPL.
Yeah.
And then we can pretend like we know.
I think the shortcut is a development player. If you can summon up like a development player, he's like, well, I love where they're going, and they've got this young kid.
Yeah, he's good. Man.
He's good, man. He's come through. I think he's out of Germany, and
There's one team you can't follow, Manaia, and that's Wrexham. Okay, that's cheating.
Yeah, that's the Drive to Survive.
Yeah, you can't follow Wrexham. Now you got to pick someone else. Reading was a team for me when I was in London.
Yeah,
only because my parents lived in Reading, and then
right.
Yeah, that was my only affiliation.
But that's enough though, because it's like people state of origins like that. Where here in New Zealand, there'll be people who are like, I bleed blue, New South Wales till I die. I couldn't name 2 cities in New South Wales. I don't think I could either. Newcastle? Yeah. Okay, maybe we could.
Rudy Hill.
Broken Hill. Dubbo, Tari. No, I think I could.
Blue Mountains.
But yeah, I just think football quite hard to follow. Anyway, you don't have to listen to us talk about it for much longer because Piney will be on very shortly. Corey Horsburgh, who was throwing the punches at Jacob Laban,
the fiery ranger.
The fiery ranger. He has had his judicial ban handed down to him. It's only 2 weeks.
What?
So he got 1 week for one incident and 2 weeks for another, and I think they're going to be served concurrently. I'm sure I'll be corrected on that. But it's either 2 or 3 weeks that he's got for that.
So do you think the judiciary looked at it and went, if we ban him for more than 6 weeks, we're going to be called up by all the gingers for picking on being gingerist?
Yeah, potentially there's a bit of wokeism at play here. I just kind of think, they talk so much about bring back the Biff. 3 week for throwing multiple punches that landed on a guy's face.
And a headbutt.
And you only get 3 weeks, Biff's back. The Biff is back. Someone wake up Reg Reagan because the Biff is back.
I doubt the Biff is back until a Warriors player biffs.
Yeah, well,
and then he's gone for 6 months.
That's the other thing, isn't it? Because the referee, when they were going through the footage, they played the referee's tape, and he said, "Oh yeah, there was a bit from both sides as well." And then you watch the replay, like extended replays. You watch it in real time. There's nothing. There's no back and forth. There's a bit of like smiling and laughing and pointing, which will definitely inflame a fiery ranger like Corey Horsburgh.
Yeah,
but that's not against the rules of the game.
One. I did see the replay. I watched it. One Warrior who got sent off come flying in with it.
That was Tom Ali, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the third man in. I think he went for one of those like shirt collar push punch.
It was an ice hockey punch, wasn't it?
Yeah,
where they grabbed the shirt and then multiple punches.
Yes, and they try and make it look like they're just trying to rough them up with the collar, but actually what they're trying to do is punch them in the chin. They've always been big on the third man in, he gets binned regardless, so that was fair enough. But the Biff's back. I reckon you gotta throw down if you're going to be out there in the NRL at the moment. Just bugger it. But that's 3 weeks out for Corey Horsburgh, who's had an absolute shocker of a season. Can't get back onto the field. This will not help him. Also, Wimbledon has just started. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, yeah, because I do. I only know because I heard it on the news, on the radio, actually, on Hauraki.
Yeah.
And
on the wireless.
On the wireless, because I don't think there's no broadcaster covering it in New Zealand.
Oh, it's not on Sky?
Nah, not on TVNZ either.
It's very early doors in the competition, so maybe they'll get around to it. But all the big names have started. Alcaraz just smashed someone. We'll probably find out. I always forget how young Alcaraz is.
Yeah, he's still like 19,
I think he's getting younger.
Yeah.
I think he's Benjamin Buttoning. I think he's about 14 this year. But we've got our own qualifier, Kiwi qualifier Lulu Sun, who's stunned Chinese 8th seed Zheng Jinwen in the Wimbledon opening round. Now, Lulu, was born in Tiano. Chanao, you may know it is, down there in the South Island. Beautiful, beautiful part of the country. Went and lived in Switzerland for a while, but has elected to play under the New Zealand flag.
She's got the most sensational international accent.
Yeah.
Have you heard her talk? It's like not Kiwi, it's not American, it's not Australian. It's just this international, nondescript accent.
Yeah, I think there's a tennis accent that's started to develop. Who's our girl, Routliff? She's got it as well a little bit.
Right.
And I think it is just because if you want to get good at tennis, you get identified at about 8 years old.
And you go to Florida.
And then you're playing tournaments around Eastern Europe. Chances are you're of some sort of former Yugoslav descent. And then you just get chucked into this hodgepodge and then you get that accent. And that accent makes you good at tennis, but a massive upset as well. I think as much as the tennis circuit seems to create psychopaths, and it would be a grueling sport to be in, I feel like it would be quite fun just going flitting around the world, going from tournament to tournament.
I think
if you could get past the
it's psychopathic because it's individual and it is so physically demanding. You look at golf. Yeah. Golf is mental and individual. You know, there is some real mental games going on there.
Huge.
And that is some mental struggles. Tennis, you got the mental struggle and the physical struggle. You know, you've got someone goes to a 5-setter and they're playing till 3 a.m, and then you got to get up the next day and go again.
Yeah.
And it's just you. Whereas in golf, I feel, it's
definitely.
It's physical, sure, but it's not. But you're not like, your 18 holes don't go for 8 hours one day.
No, yeah, that's right. And all through the night.
Yeah.
And then 40-degree weather. Yeah, that's right. Any niggle you pick up playing golf, you can get a massage and you're sweet again.
Yeah.
But yeah, you roll your ankle on the grass there at Wimbledon, you're in deep shit. Because you got another tournament next week and you haven't quite paid the bills from the last tournament. So that part of it, yes. But I do think it'll be fun just going around the world, going to tournaments, like the setup of it. But yeah, anytime you watch those Netflix docos, you're like, oh, these guys.
Yeah, they're on edge.
They are on edge. And then, everyone would have read old Andre Agassi's autobiography.
Yeah. I think the weirdest about that autobiography for me was the fact he had a picture of Steffi Graf on his wall as a teenager. And had a massive crush on Steffi Graf. And then he ended up closing the deal.
Well, I mean,
to me, that's the ultimate, isn't it?
Well, it's on the one hand, very, very creepy. On the one hand, very, very, very creepy. But on the other hand, how he didn't just completely capitulate when he finally met her. Because,
I know.
You know.
That's what I mean.
I had a poster of Dwayne Wade dunking for the Miami Heat on my wall. And if I had met him, I would have lost the plot. Yeah, let alone piling on top of that maritable intentions.
I had a picture of, the tennis player model who was fetching the ball from the back of her skirt and she was lifting up her skirt. You know that famous photo from behind?
No, but
and you get a wee cheeky shot of the bum cheek. And they're reaching around getting the ball. It's a nondescript, it's not even a tennis player. But I had that on my wall, and I would have capitulated if I'd ever met that person. I also had Samantha Fox. I had a picture of Samantha Fox. Can you remember her?
No.
Don't look her up now.
Okay. I will look her up in my own time, though. But just manifestation at its best.
Yeah.
That he had a thing of her, then he ended up marrying her. But yeah,
I'm happily married too.
Hey?
Still happily married.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Great. I don't think anyone makes it out alive of that sport. No one seems to be too well adjusted. He might be one of the more normal ones.
Roger Federer seems fairly normal, but I mean, is that just the Swiss metronomic nature of his personality as he's managed to survive without being too messed up?
He's too nice. He's like those guys where you meet. Yeah. Okay. When you meet someone and they're just really, really nice and you're like,
oh, he's into something bad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
We're all running from something, you know. You just don't talk about what your thing is. That's the only difference, Roger. The rest of us are pretty open with our vices.
Hey, something's getting announced today. We might have pre-announced it yesterday around the pre-game at the Kensington in Dunedin. that someone else will be joining us, and Richie Moanga will be joining us and driving the Export Express.
Yep.
And he's going to be doing transfers from the Kensington to Forsyth Bar all afternoon.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. You just had to get to the Kensington. I think it's 2-for-1 deals. There's live music. I've got Mitch James playing. We've got heaps of stuff to give away.
Mitch James. I love Mitch James.
Me, you, and Heath are going to be there giving away a bit of stuff.
Oh, me, you, and Heath. I love me, you, and Heath.
Me, you, and Heath. So it's going to be a great afternoon. I wouldn't go anywhere else. If you are going to Dunedin or you are in Dunedin, come down and join us at the Kensington. But the day before, we're thinking about on the Friday is getting the Export Express, which is a 60-seater bus, and heading out to the airport in Dunedin. Now, anyone who has flown into Dunedin will know
that they have never flown into Dunedin because Dunedin does not have an airport.
No, Mimona does,
Yeah.
which is a $100 taxi ride
Yeah.
out of Dunedin. And so we're thinking of maybe just rolling up with the Richie's Export Express and just parking up and piling it with punters and driving them into town.
I love the idea, but you told me this just before we walked in here. I was like, I can't imagine anyone would fly into Dunedin without a plan of how they were going to get into town because it's so far. It is so far. It's like, honestly, it'll be $100 taxi probably.
Well, you know people in Dunedin, though, so you can make a call and go, hey, Dave, come pick me up.
I think that's the part I'm missing is that I'm only ever, like if I'm going to Dunedin, I do know people that are there. And anyone else who doesn't know people there probably is going there for business.
Yes, and you get a taxi.
Yeah, or has had this All Blacks game circled.
Yeah.
And so then they were going to go get a taxi as well. So I don't know, I could be wrong.
So
but I just couldn't imagine showing up to that airport without a plan.
If you are flying on Friday afternoon from Wellington or Christchurch or Auckland and you're landing there, look out for maybe myself or Richie Mo. We'll be by the baggage carousel. We've got 60 seats going. We may get our tyres slashed by the Dunedin taxi mafia because that's how they run. But it's going to be a great weekend. We're there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be doing a few flat drops. Around there, we've got some Leader lasagna toppers and southern fried chicken toppers and a few refreshments to give away as well. So cruising up and down Castle Streets potentially and around the slums.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe someone could let me know. I think Thursday night, well, at least when I was there, Thursday night was student night. So are we in the school holidays?
Oh, yeah, there's the holidays, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there is a few people that stay down there. Not everyone departs. But you don't, if you want a prize pack anyway, of like a Snackachangi Sports Scholarship, for example, you don't have to be in Dunedin. Text CHIP to 3236 because we've also got the Snackachangi Sports Scholarship to give away, which is a bunch of Snackachangis, some refreshments, and we're binge watching. Sport is a sport, is what we're saying. So there you go. Get into it.
Alrighty, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get the voice of the round ball in New Zealand, Jason Pine, to run us down through the Euros. Well, it's been spoken about quite a lot on this podcast, Lane, that football can sometimes be a little bit of a blind spot for us.
An Achilles heel.
An Achilles heel, yeah. So to fill in that blind spot, we've brought on someone who knows all about the round ball, Jason Pine. Good morning, Piney. How are you, mate?
Yeah, great, guys. Thanks for giving us a call.
Mate, thank you for coming on because you just basically rescue all of our credibility when it comes to football. We gave it a stab last week. We gave it a good honest stab and we absolutely cocked it up by saying that Portugal got knocked out by Georgia and that the Germany-Denmark game was a nothing game. But we did predict the score it was 2-0 and won $700. So it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah, look, like good redemption there at the end. That's good. Yeah, it is. You have to say, though, betting on football is fraught with difficulty, especially at tournaments like this where you're always going to get teams raising their game. You're going to get the likes of Georgia, who have never even been to a major tournament, actually, pulling off results like they did against Portugal. You'll get, supposed favourites, Italy, defending champions, being knocked out in the round of 16. So very, very difficult to predict. The cream does tend to rise to the top as we get towards the semis and the final. But it wouldn't be a major football tournament without a few upsets along the way.
No, we just finished watching, at the time of recording this, we just finished watching Portugal take out Slovenia on penalties. Man, that was a show of emotion from old Ronaldo, because I looked up from my desk, and because I was working quite hard this morning, then I saw he was crying in the huddle, and I was like, oh, did they lose? No, they've still got another 20 minutes of footy to play, and then they're going to penalties. So I was like, what's going on here? Is he always like that?
He's different, old Cristiano Ronaldo. I think what the backstory of it is he missed a penalty in extra time, which would have, in all likelihood, have given Portugal the win. The fact that he missed it meant they went to a penalty shootout, during which he actually scored his penalty, so he kind of redeemed himself. But he knows, Cristiano Ronaldo, that this is highly likely to be his last major tournament for Portugal. What's he now, 39? Unlikely he'll be at the next Football World Cup, so this is probably it for him. And I guess, the tears that were flowing fairly freely were just a show of that emotion that, I've messed this up. And I was going to say, he was thinking, I've messed this up for my team. But really, when it comes to Cristiano Ronaldo, all he thinks about really is himself. So I think he's crying because he's thinking, I've messed this up for myself. Thankfully, his teammates rallied around and got them through the penalty shootout, and they're on to the next round.
Yeah, it was a resounding win in the end on penalties. But I was just thinking, if you're going to go back out there onto that football pitch, and he's your leader, absolutely bawling his eyes out on the sideline, it's like, that doesn't fill you with confidence.
It's a great point. And if you think to yourself, okay, what would Lionel Messi do? Would he do that? Would he be, blubbering away in a team huddle, having missed a penalty? I think what he'd probably do is, even if he was feeling internally distraught, he'd say, right, I've got to show some leadership here and go out there and make sure that the next chance that comes along goes in the back of the net. So, Cristiano Ronaldo, absolutely generational footballer. And there's always been the Messi v Ronaldo debate. But if you're looking at them as human beings, I think Messi's a lot easier to like than Cristiano Ronaldo is.
Well, absolutely. He's not has a bath of fake tan and a suspiciously large Adam's apple for a start. So I'm a massive Messi fan. I've actually met Lionel Messi, Piney. You know that? I met him in Abu Dhabi during the Football Club World Cup. He was playing for Barcelona. And he was playing in that rockstar team that had Puyol, Iniesta, and him. And he was in the changing rooms, and he was a bit lost. He didn't know where he was going. And I showed him where the changing room was. It's like, you lost it? He's tiny. He's a small man.
What were you doing there?
Oh, I used to work for FIFA, Piney. I used to run the Football Club World Cup in the UAE for 2 years.
No, so hanging around the changing room.
No, I was in operations, so I basically would player operations and stuff. So it was very complex at the time, Piney, because we had a double header. So we had 4 teams all in one corridor, and one of the teams was actually Auckland, the Auckland Football Club, Auckland City.
Yep.
And I must have told you about that. And when I caught them afterwards, after the games had finished, all queued up outside the Barcelona changing room with merchandise to sign.
Just displays haves and have-nots when it comes to that tournament. It's well, they were the same at the World Cup. When Australia played Argentina, all of the Australian players afterwards were queuing up to get Messi's, photo and signature. I've always wondered about that. I know you on the field, it probably goes off to one side, but when you revere someone so much that you're desperate to get a selfie with them afterwards. I'm just wondering whether your mind's fully on the job when you're on the football pitch. I'm sure that it is.
I wasn't overly aware of how half the players were, to be honest, at that time. So I was probably quite useful in the back of house because I had no idea who anyone was. So I wasn't getting any selfies. But I definitely knew who Messi was. Anyway, back onto the topic of the Euros. We're getting to the quarterfinals. We've got who have we got in the quarters? We've got France. Are they playing Portugal now? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. France. Yeah, we're starting to get some matchups now, which we can look forward to. Yeah, so France v Portugal. That's 7:00 Saturday morning. The game before that'll be worth getting up for. I think Spain, Germany. Spain have looked, for me, they've looked the best team at the Euros. Germany are the hosts and always do well at tournaments regardless of where they're being played. So yeah, Spain, Germany will be good. Portugal, France. Then England, Switzerland, and we've still got one to decide after the final round of 16 matches tomorrow morning.
And who? I mean, obviously Spain. You're looking at. Are they probably looking the red hot favourites for you?
They're the best team I've seen there. Yeah. The only thing is that they're on the side of the draw. That if they get past Germany, then they have to play the winner of Portugal, France. Ooh. So their road to the final is quite tough. England, I just noted before I came on with you guys at the TAB, are favourites still, which is just crazy given the fact that they have been so poor during their 4 games here so far. They've stumbled and bumbled their way through. They were 30 seconds away from going out against Slovakia in their round of 16 match. Bicycle kick from Jude Bellingham got them level, and then Harry Kane got the winner. But they are on a more favourable side of the draw. Having said that, anybody who plays England at the moment, I reckon, backs themselves. And the Swiss will be well up for it on Sunday morning at 4 o'clock our time. I don't think they're going to roll over.
They seem to be a fairly well supported team over there. It seems like the English fans have really gotten in behind their team over there. Every time they pan around the crowd, there's English fans everywhere, shirtless, banging on their drums. Are they one of the best travelled fandoms there?
Yeah, look, Manaia, it's interesting you say. They're certainly the most, there's, I think, probably more of them than any other team, but yeah. I'm not sure that they're always necessarily behind their team 100%. You might have seen some footage, actually, of a whole bunch of English fans actually leaving the ground in the round of 16. They're 1-0 down, as I say, against Slovakia. There's, only a couple of minutes to go, and some fans thought, no, bugger this, I'm out. And just as they were leaving and being filmed by a local news crew, you heard this roar from the stadium they'd just exited of Jude Bellingham's goal, which got them level. I've never been able to work out why people leave a game early, regardless of the result or whether your team's behind or whatever. You just stay to the end, I think.
Yeah, but everyone wants to beat the traffic, Piney.
Yeah, but you are at that point. You are the traffic because everyone's trying to do it.
Actually, no, none of those English fans are driving around Munich or wherever the hell they are. Yeah, I've never worked it out. But yeah, England, look, well supported. Their fans are, I think that there's less and less of the real hardcore hooligan stuff going on now. There's a lot of guys who have clearly seen the insides of a lot of bars, but yeah, they turn out and. Look, they'll be there in big numbers again when they take on Switzerland in Dusseldorf on Sunday our time.
This is about the only point of the Euros where I get really interested is about the quarterfinal stage. I was struggling through the pool play, hence I was bumbling my way through any updates on the Agenda podcast and getting roundly abused by our faithful audience. Can you see any dark horses coming into these quarterfinals? Anyone we need to look out for? And you got Austria, Turkey, Romania, and Netherlands still to play.
Yeah, of those 4, the Netherlands seem like the one that will go through to the semi-finals. They'll get, I would imagine, they'll get past Romania okay. I'd keep an eye on Turkey. Their fans are absolutely bonkers.
Yep.
Completely mental, and often that flows onto what they do on the pitch as well. If Turkey can get past Austria, who are a pretty functional side, and then come up against, Turkey could beat England, put it that way. They could.
Yeah.
At this tournament, anyone who's played England's a chance of beating them. So if you're looking for a dark horse, probably Turkey. As I say, on the other side, guys, Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, we're talking footballing superpowers there. So no dark horse to be found there. So, yeah, let's see what happens in the final round of 16 matches tomorrow. But as I say, usually in tournament football, you find that the really top teams are the ones who are playing at the business end.
As a non-football, like a very casual football follower, this one seems a lot bigger than the last. I don't remember people being this big into the Euros. Is that a big part of that because last time was during COVID, or do you feel like this is growing in popularity?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's not as big as a World Cup. I think people really wrap themselves into a World Cup because, as the name would suggest, countries from all around the world. These are teams that are all from the same continent, and by and large, a lot of them play the same style of football. So you're not really going to get too much in the way of a contrast in styles. It's funny. I've I normally, and I have this time as well. I normally watch every game, but I've just found some of them to be just a little bit samey, and the time difference is tough. Getting up at 1 a.m. and then getting through to a 4 o'clock and then a 7 o'clock. That's not great for the sleep patterns. But look, there are 24 teams in the tournament, which is more than they have had previously. And what that's led to is third place teams in a group going through. And so I think that's probably kept more fans more interested for longer in the tournament. Around here, like I say, if you can get up at breakfast time and watch football, just the 7 o'clock game, for example, that's a pretty friendly time to watch a game of high quality sport. So maybe more and more people are taking advantage of that.
Speaking of popularity, Piney, the All Whites. Now, I said something yesterday on the podcast, and then I thought about it, and I thought, I wonder if I got that right. But obviously, we took out the Oceania Nations Cup over the weekend, beating, was it Vanuatu? Is it? Have I read this right? But in the future, are they opening up an automatic qualification from Oceania into the FIFA World Cup?
Absolutely bang on, yep. It's because the World Cup itself is increasing in size. The next one will be, normally the World Cup, or for the last few editions, has been 32 teams.
Yeah.
It's going to be 48 teams from the next one. And so in order to get more teams, you open up more spots, obviously. And Oceania has never had direct entry into the World Cup. That's why we've always had these intercontinental playoffs. The Bahrain one's the most famous one. When we got through, we've lost to Mexico, lost to Peru, lost to Costa Rica last time. But now, yes. So whoever wins the Oceania Nations Cup immediately before the World Cup will gain direct entry into the World Cup. Okay. So really, it's a bit of a lay down misere for the All Whites. Really, they are far and away the best team in Oceania. All of their players are professionals. The island sides they're really a long way below. There are very few professional players in the islands. They're just local club players, really. So New Zealand's path to the World Cup, the next one, and everything beyond that looks a lot clearer. So, I feel like the agenda needs to start booking tickets to Mexico, the United States, and Canada in 2026.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have to maybe skill up on our knowledge, but so
we'll have to bring you with us, Piney.
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey, Piney, is there any chance that Australia can flip and decide to go back to Oceania and move away from Asia?
I don't think they will now.
Yeah.
They're actually, the move to Asia has been good for the quality of their football. And actually, ever since they moved, they've made the World Cup every time. Right. So there's no real reason for them to come back. And of course, with more teams, there are actually more spots through Asia now as well. Okay. So, I don't think they will. I think they'll leave it to New Zealand to be the big fish in this pond. What it does do, though, is it kind of puts to bed any thoughts that New Zealand might join the Asian Confederation.
Yeah, right.
Which I think from a football sense would have been great for our football, but why would we go somewhere now where we know we've got direct entry to World Cups where we are? I think they'll probably just stay put and battle away against the island nations and probably make every World Cup from now until the end of time.
Yeah, I'd rather do that anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past the Aussies.
No,
I wouldn't put it past them.
Spiteful.
I wouldn't put it past them.
I've got a bit of form when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And some other news out of the Phoenix. Another Phoenix player has been signed over to Europe. Is that right?
Yeah, Ben Old. Yeah, this news will be confirmed in the next couple of days, as I understand it. He had a terrific season. It's a name to remember, guys. He has. I think I first saw Ben Old play when he was about 16 years old in the Phoenix Academy. And when you see anyone play any sport, you think, that kid's got a bit about him. And then you wonder whether they'll go on with it. And I've always sort of followed Ben Old's career for the last 6 or 7 years. Absolutely tremendous for the Phoenix last season. And picked up by a French club, Saint Etienne. They've just been promoted back into the top flight in France. So if Ben Old makes that team, he'll be playing in the top French league. He's off to the Olympics, so I get the feeling he'll just go to Paris for the Olympics and then probably just stay put and join his new club over there. So, another one. We know Alex Paulson, of course. We've talked about him, the goalkeeper who's off to the Premier League. So, great to see these young Kiwi kids coming through the Phoenix and then going on to bigger and brighter and better things.
It sounds like the round ball is in a healthy spot here, at least in New Zealand. And as I said before, I feel like everyone at the moment is off to a pub at about 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the Euros. At the moment, we'll have to get you on. I think we've got 2 more weeks yet of the Euros, Piney?
Yep, that's right.
We'll have to get you on throughout that to keep us updated because, as we know, we are less than updated here on this podcast. So
I'll tell you what I have done though, Manaia and Piney. I've put $100 on 12.5 corners or more in the Romania-Netherlands game. I love how you can bet on corners.
Yeah. Well, look, absolutely no rationale behind it, but I like the way you think.
Is that your own money there, or does that come out of our pot?
No comment.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Piney. Enjoy your football over the next couple of weeks, mate.
Yeah, take it easy, boys. Thanks, heaps.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Huge thank you to Jason Pine for joining us over Tuesday morning. It is time for Yours, Please. Let's just rip straight into it. First caller here. Yours, please.
G'day, fellas. It's Mike Hunt here. I have a bit of a ethical dilemma. Well, no, it's actually just it's a logistical dilemma. I've got a very close friend's 30th birthday, which coincides with the All Blacks game, and I'm just wondering how the fuck do I get out of that so I can just watch the footy? Yeah, help me please.
Wow, there's several ways you can do this, Mike Hunt. Well,
Mr. Hunt.
you could still go to the 30th, can't you? Or does he want to go to the actual footy, or does he want to watch it? Because if he just wants to watch it, you can just turn up late. You can just say you've got something on and turn up at 9 o'clock as opposed to 6.
I'd need to know a bit more about the 30th. How big is this do going to be? Because my initial thought was just invite him to the footy. But if he's got family and it's a whole thing, then that's probably going to ruin it. I don't think anyone would be opposed to, at their 30th, putting the game on. I presume it's going to be at a venue that would have screens.
Or you just stick it on Sky Sport Now?
Yeah, on your phone. That is a little bit antisocial. Although I went out for dinner on Saturday night, and at the restaurant, 3 different tables were watching the Warriors on their phones.
I hope you went over and changed it to Sky Sport 9.
Oh, no, they were on their phones. I mean...
Yeah, but you can go over there and just go, hey, mate.
Whip around each of their phones.
Go back to the menu and then go, there you go, that's better.
I will generally, if I'm following a game, I'll just check the scores. I won't have the game going if I'm in that kind of situation. But you could just chuck it on the screens, surely.
The other option is we can give Mr. Hunt here a prize. So you can say, I've won a trip to the footy thing with the ACC, I've got to go to that.
Okay. All right. Well, then, without any further ado, again, I'd just like to clarify, this is something we do from time to time. This is not a real prize. But, Mike, not you, but the other one, pause the podcast now.
Yeah.
Go and get, maybe clip this and send it to your mate.
Yeah.
So that he can be like, oh, no. All right. All right, Lane. Well, it is time to give away flights and tickets to the All Blacks game this weekend in Dunedin. And we've had millions of entries from around the world. And the winner, without any further ado, is Mike Hunt.
There you go.
Congratulations, Mike. Clear your schedule, mate. Whatever you had on, bin it. Whatever you had planned for your weekend, you're going to have to scrap that, mate, because we are sending you to the All Blacks game in Dunedin.
Well done.
Come down and say good day to us at the Kensington beforehand.
There you go. There you go, Mike.
I always want to say for you and a mate, but then I feel like I'm probably stitching them up because then whoever they send the thing to will be like, oh, why don't you take me?
No, just a mate. No,
anyway,
just a single.
There you go, Mr. Hunt. Hey, look, we're just making dreams happen here on the podcast. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Yeah, g'day, Murray. First time caller, long time listener. On your ultimate Australian sports events, Adelaide for the Lions versus Commonwealth 15 is a goodie, but get over there for the Live Golf.
Oh yeah,
it's very reasonable. $1,500 or something for entry to all you can drink. Come on, I think maybe even better there. $600. Anyway, fuck South Canterbury.
Yeah, great. I agree. I totally overlooked that. Live Golf Adelaide. It won the best live event globally. Cam McMillan up at the Herald went, and he said it was loose and great fun. So yeah, you're right. We'll flag that Anzac Lions game and go to the Live.
Yeah, Adelaide. I've heard Adelaide's actually quite cool.
It's got a lot better. I went 20 odd years ago and it was rough.
Yeah.
And then I went during the pink ball test and it was awesome.
Yeah, 1.3 million people in Adelaide.
It's great. And you got the Barossa Valley, you got McLaren Vale, you got Virewiney. The Adelaide Oval is next level after their renovations. Right. It's great. I really enjoyed Adelaide.
My concern with a $1,500 entry fee and free piss is that $1,500 then becomes a target.
Yes.
Because you have to drink $1,500 worth of piss to feel like you've won that situation.
Yeah, I think is that for a corporate area, because that's quite dangerous that all you can eat and drink.
Yeah.
Scenario. I'd rather get access and maybe just cheap drinks, and then there has to be a transaction for me.
Yeah, right.
If I want to control my consumption.
Because otherwise you just feel like you just got to go hell for leather.
Yeah.
Otherwise you feel like you're getting ripped off.
Correct.
It's like if you've ever stayed at a hotel where your drinks are included, like an all-inclusive package. Or
I've never done that.
Even a flight.
Oh, yeah.
If you're on a flight where you're like, oh, they're serving piss. And I sit there and I'm like, yep, can I grab a beer? And they ask my missus if she wants anything. She goes, no, thanks, I'm all good. I'm like, you kidding me? You want a beer? What are we doing here? But the problem with that is they have her seat marked down as she's got celiac. She can't have gluten. So they're like, oh, so you got celiac and you're going to drink a beer, are you? I don't think they give a shit, but to be fair, that one kills me. But yeah, the $1,500, that's a target for me. But anyway, we should go to live. That's the long and short of that. Another call here. Yours, please.
Hi boys, just wanting to point out that you may well have your facts wrong where the All Blacks are located currently. It is in Hiratonga in Upper Hutt, not Lower Hutt. Just come on lads, simple shit, get it right.
Oh my
Carry on.
God, the Hutt Valley. Can we not get into a debate about the Hutt Valley and the geopolitics of Hutt Valley?
We want to steer clear of regional politics here.
Yeah, especially the Hutt Valley.
Yeah.
Let's just say they're training in Eastbourne. That'll really wind them up.
It's a troubled past that they've got there in the Hutt Valley.
Yeah.
They're the North and South Korea of New Zealand.
They are. And they'd quite happily build a demilitarised zone through it, I reckon.
Yeah. Genetically indistinct from one another.
Yeah.
But culturally, and I've heard, widespread famine in Upper Hutt. That's what I'm hearing. And nuclear arms. Anyway, another caller here. Yours, please.
Yeah, fellas, I thought I'd let you know, instead of shitting on you for getting something wrong, you got the bus bit right. Need a class 4 and a P endorsement.
There you go.
And this one's for you, Manaia. Fuck the Waikato and nice Suburban Championship you don't have.
So,
I mean, it was a compliment and then it wasn't.
I'm hoping that's going to catch on.
Yeah.
Because, everyone's been signing off with fuck South Canterbury. It doesn't have to be South Canterbury. Don't limit yourselves. You can go wherever you want. So
It'll be the Hutt Valley now.
Little fuck Waikato. Another caller here.
Oh yeah, g'day, loving the Formula 1 recap.
Thanks,
you
mate.
fellas should do a little highlights episode every week, fucking quick montage. You've already got all the nicknames down packed. Just for all the motorsports, never mind the round ball, blue balls, and all of those, oval balls. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, look, Van Strapon, he's going to take this one out. I mean, this is my goal, caller, at the end of the year is to convert Manaia to the motor games, move him on from motor games and into motorsport.
I need to find a driver I can latch onto, I think.
Yeah, Lando Norris is good. I like him.
Yeah, old Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
I don't mind him.
He's not bad. He's
I can't go Daniel Ricciardo.
No, you can't go Ricciardo,
No.
especially when he's occupying the seat that Liam Lawson needs to be in.
Yeah.
Big Schnozzer.
Big schnoz, and otherwise a very good-looking man. I think he's got that thing where, a good perfume has to have that little hint of, like, a bad smell about it.
Yeah.
He's got that look to him. It's like he's a very handsome, good-looking man with just, like, an odd-looking nose, which I actually think makes him hotter, which makes me hate him more.
Yeah, and you got Charles Leclerc, who's the hottest man alive. He's been responsible for a vast change in the demographics of who's watching Formula 1. Charles Leclerc. Yeah,
it's the other part of Formula 1, at least, is that it's unrelatable for me. I don't know how hard it is, any of the stuff that they're doing. It's like when we commentated the Jussie Wells Invitational last year. It may shock you to know, I actually didn't know any of the moves that I was commentating there.
And it may shock you to know that you don't ski. You haven't skied and you can't ski.
I cannot ski.
Can't ski.
So I was looking at them and I was like, I don't know, is that hard to do? Because I've just seen 5 guys do like quadruple flips in a row. And then I'm like, yeah, no, that is like one of the hardest things in the world to do. You're watching the best people in the world.
Luckily, we had Ed Lee with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew exactly.
It was calling the screaming Siemens left, right, and centre.
AKA Satan Wapakov. He was I think the 2-time winner of the world
air
guitar competition under the pseudonym Satan Wapakov.
Yeah, and he played in a giant phallus costume, and at the top of the air guitar riff, yogurt would fly out in a pneumatic gun out of the top of the phallic costume into the crowd.
And I think it went haywire because he had no way of testing it beforehand because it was like a one-shot costume. And so he's like, I can't have a dry run of this. We're just going to go for it on the night. And I think it just exploded, had a meltdown. We need to get Ed Lee on the podcast at some point. But yeah, I think maybe a Motor Games recap. I don't know. I feel like we're wading into the same territory we are with the round ball.
Yeah, look, I mean, just going back just a few seconds to Ed Lee, we should probably talk to him about the Olympics because he commentates the skateboarding. And the skate park stuff, which is really interesting. In the Olympics, remember last time was it Tokyo? That 14-year-old kid won gold and some of the meanest tricks. And they all go and they're just listening to their AirPods. And it'll be pissing off every boomer known to man to watch that.
Yeah.
In the Olympics, and there's a kid on his AirPods just completely oblivious to the world. And
dressed like a hooligan.
And then just throws down in the street park.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk to him about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I'm going to enter into the breakdancing. All right, that'll do us for today. That's the last yours, please. Feel free to fire some more in. We'll get around to those tomorrow, as well as another half-baked sports idea. We will see you then.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.